This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, friends. Welcome to goonlinetrainings.com. So, yesterday we had seen what is a view, right? And what are the options with the views, right? So, we had seen couple of options. What are the options we had seen with schema binding clause? The second one is with encryption. So, the next one is called, the last one is called with check option. Satisfied rows by where clause cannot be modified using a view. So that is the meaning of with check option. So why schema binding? Schema binding means you cannot change or alter the schema of the base table. So already we had seen what is a schema. Schema means schema means code, right? So whenever you create a table, so for example, if I creating a table called employee table, and whatever you give here, so that is what is called a schema, right? Employee ID, integer, which is the primary key. So the code which you're writing is called schema, right? So employee name, right? So varchar, say 10, not null, right? And you say salary, so which is money, null, so something like this. So when you create a table, table gets created. So let me go and open. So the table gets created like this, right? So employee is a table name, and employee ID, employee name, and employee salary. The data type is very, very simple. This is integer, and this is what? Okay. And the primary key name varchar of 10, and this is money. So these are the data types, and this is the primary key. And what is this? This is a not null column, and this is a null column. So later what you do, you're going to be inserting the data, right? So you insert the data. One, say John, now 100. Two, say Shibu, 2000, something like this. Now, what is the data in this? This is what is called data. This is what is called metadata or schema, right? So this is what we discussed yesterday. So what is data? This is what is called data. Okay. This is what is called data. And what is this called as? Including table name, column name, data types, null, not null. This is what is called metadata. Okay. This is what is called metadata, or we are going to call this as a schema. Clear? Schema means data about data. Metadata means data about data. What is one? One is employee ID. Okay, tell me something more about employee ID. So this is integer. This is a primary key. So what is two? Two is an employee ID. What is two? Two means it is employee ID. It is integer, which is a primary key. So data about data is called as a metadata. It is a schema. In simple words, schema is nothing but whatever the code that you're going to be writing. So this defines what is called a schema or a code. So this is what you need to understand. So the code is called as a schema. So after creating a table, so what you do? Normally, you're going to be inserting the data. Clear? So people will say, what is a schema and what is a metadata? Are you clear? So now, this is one schema. So apart from that, whenever you open, whenever you open something, you should be able to see DBO, DBO, DBO. What is this? This is also schema. So that schema is different. This schema is different. Okay. Don't confuse with why is this DBO? What is the need for this DBO? Right? So what is this schema? This schema is something different. That schema is something different. So don't include there. Schema means the code. So here The schema means not a code. So the purpose is logically group something. So what is the purpose? Let us discuss one by one now. Clear? So if I go to AdventureWorks database, now I see a lot of schemas, right? So DBO is one schema that the SQL Server defaults gives it, right? So DBO, human resources, then we have a person, then we have a production, and lot of schemas are available. So if you wanted to create a table, you can create a schema first. Schema is called DBO. Schema name could be anything. You can give X, you can give Y, you can give Z, and you can create a table and you can assign, for example, table T1. If you don't give any schema, this can be assigned to this. If you create one more table T2, if you don't assign it to anything, again it will go there. If you wanted to create a table T3, you can assign it to a schema. Okay, why schema? Let us discuss. Okay, if I create a table T4, for example, X is a sales schema. So table T4 is also assigned. This is a sales schema, marketing schema, this schema, that schema. So why schema means to create the logical grouping. Okay, why logical grouping is important? Because I wanted to define what is called as a security. Clear? If you wanted to create a schema, this is how you need to create a schema. Create a schema, sales schema. DBO already exists. Create a schema, sales, and a drop schema, sales. If you wanted to drop it, let me go and create one schema called sales. Let me go there, and this is the syntax. Let me erase this. Okay, so if you wanted to create schema anytime, so create schema like this. Let me create one schema. So, okay, I think it has been created. Let me create one schema. If you wanted to drop the schema, you should be able to drop schema name sales. Now, what is the purpose of the schema? We'll understand. But before that, let me go and try to show you the schema in iBank database. Clear? So, table schema is something different. I am not talking about this schema. This schema is nothing but a code, right? So this schema is different. This schema is different. Let us talk about this schema. Once you create a schema, you can simply go to your, security, iBank security. You should be able to see users and roles, and we have schemas, right? So a lot of schemas are available. One of the schema is a predefined schema is called DBO, guest information schema, tables I told you yesterday, right? And just now we created a schema called a sales schema. So that I wanted to see it here. So this is what is called sales schema. Clear? So I wanted to use a sales schema and create one table. Okay, if you wanted to drop like this, and if I create a table, let me say create a table employee. If I don't give anything, if I don't assign any schema, employee ID, which is integer and primary key, and EMP name, okay, EMP name, let us say varchar of 100 or 1000, whatever you wanted to give. So, which is a not space null, and salary, which is definitely a money. And you could be having null column. I wanted to create one table, create it. So what is a default schema if I don't give any schema? So I go to tables and refresh and go to this, and you should be able to see by default employee schema, right? By default DBO, so the employee belongs to. Clear? But now I have created a schema called this one. So I wanted to create under sales. Under what is sales? Sales is a schema. I wanted to create the same table here. Can we create same table once again with different schema? Let me see now. So I have employee table which is associated to DBO schema. If you don't mention anything here, it should be able to go to DBO by default. Okay. But I wanted to use my schema. So you need to create a schema first, then you need to assign this object. Can I create one same table called employee table with the help of one more schema? Let us execute that. Okay. Let us execute. Yes, you should be able to create. Let me go and try to see. Okay. Now we could see employee table, DBO, and we could see one more sales dot employee table. What is the sales? Sales is now a schema. So how to create a schema? This is how we can create a schema. How to drop schema? You need to say drop. But when you drop like this, it is not going to work. Cannot drop schema sales because it is being used by employee. Clear? If you wanted to drop the schema, first you have to drop the table because the table is associated with the schema. Now you need to drop the table first, then drop the schema. Now the question is why schema, right? So this is what we need to discuss. Now, schema, if you see, schema is a part of the security, right? User roles schemas. You should be able to see different schemas. Sys dot, tables, sys dot columns. These are predefined schemas. Information underscore schema. Sales user defined schema. Guess. Let me tell you why schema is important to create. Let me simply go and try to understand. Now, in the real time, how the things would be whenever you're the user, right? So you may be an employee or user, whoever it is. So you are joining in the company. For example, tomorrow you got a job in Amazon.com or Google.com or Microsoft.com. So as soon as you join the company, so what will happen? Your user ID will be created. For example, my user ID is Bhaskar. Okay, I told you, right? In Microsoft, I was in, so I was having for ist slash bh jogi. This is my user ID there. So I had some password. So as soon as you have created, what is far ist? Far is the see the domain name. Clear? So you will have a domain name and your user ID will get created. So this is the user. So if I'm a SQL guy, that definitely the DBA team has to be, giving the permission to me. Otherwise, I cannot work on that. Clear? So what will happen? So the user, for example, I'm the sales manager, okay, or I am a marketing manager, or I am a some this one that one. So I may be belong to one role in company. I may be technical person, maybe sales guy, maybe marketing guy, maybe I'm the HR manager. So you will have a predefined role for you, right? So you may be technical DBA guy. So as soon as the users are joined, users are associated with their role. Clear? So there is a group or you can have a role. Clear? So as soon as you go, you can see a user. Then you should be able to see some roles here. Okay, some roles are available. So we have, public role, owner role, this role, that role, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So now I have some objects. For example, I have iBank database. So now this user has to give a permission onto the iBank database, right? So what we are going to be giving, so let me say there is an object here. So object. So object means I'm talking about, so which database you can get access to. So I have a lot of databases. Now the new employee joins. For example, I work for iBank or I work for HR, I work for something else. So you should be able to get a permission first. You are going to be, first you have to get the accessibility. This is what is called authentication. Day one, I told you, right? The same user. So once you get user ID and password, so this user ID, Forest Bhaskar Jogi, has to be, created in this. Okay. So first you have to go here, new login. Now you need to go to search and you need to search for Far East. Okay. And Bhaskar Jogi, BH Jogi, this user ID. When I check names, it is going to check in the Kedar domain. So what is the domain here? Far East domain. So now I have a user ID called Bhaskar. So when I click this Kedar Bhaskar, have you seen this? What is Kedar? What is Kedar now? The Kedar is a domain or the Windows name. So there we have a Far East slash BH Jogi, Bhaskar Jogi. This is a user ID when I joined Microsoft, right? So like that, people are going to be giving something like this. Now what will happen? So you need to be assigning. So the Bhaskar Jogi, by default, if you don't mention anything, he is giving some public role. So this guy, the new guy, is going to be assigned with iBank database. iBank by default, you will be able to get the public role. Okay. First, you have to get the user ID from Windows. So after that, same guy has to access iBank database. You go to this one, and then you need to add this guy and click on OK. Clear? So that is what you should do it. So already been added. So I cannot add Bhaskar Jogi once more. So if it is not there, it will get created. It is already there. So failed because server principal already exists. Clear? So this user ID already exists. I cannot create once more. So normally, as soon as you get user ID and password with Windows, the next step is that your DBA team, database administrative team, will get information saying that new user Bhaskar Jogi joined in our company. So create one user ID, or you can give a permission to Bhaskar Jogi on iBank database. Clear? So the first one, you are the user for the Windows or the domain. So you can access the Microsoft network now. It does not mean that you can access the SQL Server and Oracle. As a DBA team who's maintaining the SQL servers, and they will be assigning this user has to get the permission onto so and so. The HR team will inform the technical team, right? As HR manager inform a technical manager. We recruited one guy. I think you told that you need one technical guy or the HR guy. We have recruited. So he's the guy name. So Bhaskar Jogi joined today. So okay, the manager. So to whom I supposed to report. The manager will, call the technical guys and saying that we have recruited one guy today in our team. His name is Bhaskar Jogi. So this guy is a sales manager. His guy is a technical developer or the BA developer. He's supposed to have access onto this database or in .NET application. So that is how the next things will go in the company. Clear? So I'm recruited. So I may be a DBA person. I may be anything. Database administrator, database developer. You could be anything like that. Many people are going to be joining in the company. Technical people, non-technical people. Many people are going to be joining. So in case of IT companies, if it is non-IT company, no need of maintaining technical guys because IT projects are being maintained by some more guys. So if it is a city bank, only sales managers, marketing managers, loans manager, regional level manager, teller, clerk, office boy, something like this. You have purely non-technical guys, not the technical guys. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. So if you're a DBA or if you're a user, so whatever it is. So let me create one more user. So many people are going to be joining, right? So this is one more guy called, let us say, Far East. So Peter also joins. Peter James joins today. So in the same domain. So he may be a DBA. Okay. So I may be a sales guy. Clear? So like that, different people will be recruiting. So you will be having a roles. You will be having a roles, right? So what is the role? All the sales people. So you have all, salespeople, all you have different roles you can create. So there is a role called officer role, right? So sales officer, some predefined roles we can create, and we can have a predefined roles like system admin roles also available. Clear? So you have object, like what are the objects you're going to be having here? So object, like you have a database, right? So this is what is called an object. So database is an object. So iBank database an object. Within the database, you may have a tables. Lot of tables will be there, right? So table called employee table, table called EMP table. So this table, that table. So lot of tables are there. Plus lot of views are there. Okay, view one, view two. So let me have view one, stored procedure, this one, that one. Lot of things are available. So what are the things objects? So one is called a table, one is called a view, one is called a stored procedure. Lot of objects are there. Clear? So there is a table, right? So there is a what is called it is a views, okay? Because this is a stored procedure, and we may have something called functions, right? So something called functions. Normally, how the company is going to be working, okay? Whenever you create something, what happens? These objects are created with some user permissions. So who's going to be maintaining the server? So the always servers are being maintained, okay? Servers are being maintained by DBA team. So there are people in the DBA team. Let us say we have James and we have David, right? We have Tom, we have Girish. These are the DBA team. So DBA team means they are the owners. Now you have a lot of objects that are created, and what normally we're going to be using. So each and every table normally will be associated to one guy. Remember this. For example, I have a items in the kitchen. Okay, I have a lot of items in the kitchen. I have a lot of items in the hall. So if I am owning my hall, so what I do, all the kitchen items have to be taken care by one guy. Because if something goes wrong tomorrow, I will catch you. If the grinder is not there in the kitchen, I'll ask you, Tom, or I'll ask you, James. Okay, so all kitchen items will be owned by one guy. All TVs and refrigerators and whatever it is available in the hall, that will be taken care by one more guy. For example, so we have Geeta here. So I say, Geeta, you're responsible for all items which are available in the hall. Okay. And in the bedroom, I have a lot of gold and jewelry, and lot of things are available. I'm clearly telling I have a lot of gold and jewelry. Now, Sneha is responsible for gold and the this one. So why we need to give the user responsibility? Because tomorrow, if the room is opened, anybody can go anywhere. So tomorrow, if I lost my gold, so then whom to ask? But if I say, if somebody steal the gold, means I can ask one guy. The one guy is called Sneha. So who is owning say the gold? Sneha will be complete responsible for that gold. Who is responsible for the items which are in the hall? So one more employee, so that is Geeta. And the items which are available in the kitchen, we have a lot of items, costly items are available. If something is missing, I will not leave it. I have a user who's going to be owning that item. Clear? So complete kitchen items are owned by James or somebody, and some more items are owned by Sneha. Some more items are owned by. So these are the DBAs. DBAs means admin people for that hall, for that kitchen, for that complete premises. These are the admin guys. So who are the admin guys for the servers? Now, so I told you, what is a table? Table is a data. What is a data? Data is the wealth. It is a gold and jewelry for the company. Clear? So they don't leave the data without assigning into user. There is a gold, I have assigned it to Sneha. Sneha, you should take care of gold, right? So Godofy, this is my jewelry, you need to take care of that. And Geeta, you need to take care of the this furniture. So there is a value, the value will not be left like that, it will be assigned to somebody in the company, so that the the premises will be maintained clearly. Clear? Now normally what will happen, James is the guy, he is going to own, let us say, this table. So let us say this is a gold box, this is one table having a lot of employee data, employee table. And James is the guy, he is going to be having tables. So table called employee table, department table, and James is the guy is owning this table as well. So if something goes wrong in this table, who's in charge? James is the in charge. Why? Because James is the guy he's owning. If tomorrow somebody comes and asks, hey, give me permission onto this, give me permission onto this. So directly, if they give the permission without James' knowledge, when we give the permission to this, then definitely there is a problem. So what normally we do, we create a logical unit called, we don't give like this. Okay, we don't give like this. So what we do, we create what is called as a schema. Okay, we create what is called as a schema. What is called as a schema? Schemas could be having, let me create a schema here. Okay, schema we're going to be creating, so complete sales tables. Okay, there is a schema called sales table, and there is schema called marketing. Okay, there is a schema called purchase. Like that, we are going to be creating a lot of schemas. Okay, now what I do, I say all the kitchen items will be handled by James. All the the bedroom items will be handled by Sneha. I told you, right? All these items are held by purchase. So who's owning the schemas? So all kitchen items. So under sales, this table is linked. Under sales, this table is linked. Clear? So you can say this is a kitchen. Kitchen is having two items. So this will be owned by James. Clear? And I told you there is a hall, whatever be the items which are available in the hall owned by Geeta. Now what I try to do, so David is going to be, owning market schema. Market has a table one and table two, and this view is also available under market. Clear? So tomorrow this is change, old by something else. So what is the advantage here? The advantage very, very simple. So if I wanted to, if you have some problem with the permission, or if I'm having some problem with table, I always question James. Why, James? The sales table are having not proper data. So did you give permission to any new guy? So I think in the okay, bedroom, one jewelry is missing. So whom to ask? Whom to ask? So we know now we need to ask Sneha. Very simple. Now sales data, these are having sales data. Something is went wrong. So who is owning these tables? These two tables are owned by a James. Tomorrow, if you're a sales manager, so who's supposed to give the permission? So you remember this. So you are allocated to the sales, and for example, your DBA team, you're allocated to this, and you have one more guy allocated to this. So whatever it is, and you're going to be allocating to this. Okay, your so sales is allocating to this, right? So you may be getting the access to this, you may be getting access to this. Okay, so tomorrow this roles and everything will be accessing this one, but before accessing, James only give the permission, because James is owning this. When this guy says there is a group created, a sales group, and the sales group supposed to access this. So if I wanted to go to kitchen first, what I should do? I need to ask to James, So James is the guy who's owning the schemas. Clear? So when you say Bhaskar Jogi tomorrow become a sales manager, he wanted to access the sales table. So I belong to a sales group. Okay. So I belong to sales group. I will have permission to sales tables. But before going sales table, there is schema that the permission will be given. So there is schema also will be associated for these guys. Okay. Schema will be there, so schema is called sales schema, or you may be having X schema. So you are responsible for. So sales group is owning the sales schema. Sales schema is having lot of tables, one or two tables. This and this schema is owned by DBA people. That means if somebody is asking tomorrow something, give me the hall key, keys, or give me the kitchen keys means. So I know that James is responsible for these two tables and David is responsible for these two tables. So why schema? Schema means it is a logical entity. Whatever the tables which are under the schema owned by this DBA, if something goes wrong tomorrow, definitely James will be questioned. If something goes wrong tomorrow, David is questioned. If something goes wrong tomorrow, Tom is questioned. And if something goes wrong in this, Girish is questioned. So whenever you are getting access, and all these are under control of a schema. What is a schema? Schema will be end of the day will be owned by the DBA people. And without DBA knowledge, you will not be able to go to this at all. Clear? For example, tomorrow hacker comes. Tomorrow hacker is going to come and he can come to group enroll. Later he cannot come because to go to the object, so he has to get the permission from the James or the David or the Tom or the Girish. Then only the hacker can go because the permission. So logically will be given to the schemas and from the schemas only. Tomorrow James resigns the company and goes. What will happen? Okay, so the sales schema will get dropped, or sometimes what they do, they create a names with their names only. For example, they say they create a schema called James with their names, they create sometimes. Okay, so James is having, they'll create one more schema called David, so they'll say one more schema, so you can just associate with this. So what is the advantage of the schema? Schema is going to own lot of tables or the objects. So if you wanted to get the permission to the table or something, you have to go through the schema. Schema means there is a guy who's going to be associating with this. And if you wanted to access, he has to give the permission. Clear? Tomorrow James resigns the company. So what will happen? You drop James schema, you create a new more schema called, say, tomorrow, say some ABC person joins. So you create one more schema. This ABC person is going to be owning these tables. Clear? So that is the meaning of this. If I create a schema, so schemas are always owned by a database owner. So you cannot access, let me go, you cannot access any other table. Okay, if you're a HR, you are going to be mapped to HR schema. HR schema will be owned by one DBA, right? So you need to get the permission from that, so that he is going to be granting the permission to you. So the human resources is a schema. Schema is always associated to a DBA guy, DBA guy. DBA are the people who is going to be admin. They're going to be maintaining your databases and they're owning your tables. So who's going to own your tables? So these tables are going to be owned by one DBA and these tables are going to be owned by one more DBA. So it is a physical, responsibility of the DBA only. Clear? So that is the reason. So people know that. People know that. So he's the guy who's taking care of the schemas. Clear? So why schemas means you need to understand schemas are used to group the entities and the schema is completely owned by DBA. So why the schema? Why the schemas created? To provide more security to the objects. What are the objects we have? We have views, stored procedures, functions, tables. Clear? So a schema is going to be also, having some tables. Now, if you assign a schema to the group, so they can get only those tables, not anything else. Clear? So tomorrow the James resigns the company. So what they do? they drop this schema and they drop the schema, new guys ABC will get created and ABC schema will get created, and this guy is associated to this schema, ABC schema, and the permissions are given to this. So DBA teams are going to own the schemas. Clear? So schemas, why? To provide the security for the end users. Clear? So otherwise what happens? You don't have any clue. So directly people are accessing your data if you give a permission. Okay, but if I wanted to give my permission, definitely I should know. If I am, owning a bedroom and jewelry, if somebody says, hey, I wanted to go to bedroom, means you will ask, who are you? So I say, I'm so and so person, whether you're authenticated or not. So I will check. Sneha is going to checking, yeah, he's authenticated person. These are the keys. You can just go there and do whatever you wanted to do. So the people will come to know these guys are going there and doing something. Clear? So that is the requirement for the schema. The schema purpose is to maintain the items as a group, and each schema will be owned by one DBA because more secure, more security can be applied to the objects. So, okay, the logical entity, which is logical grouping. If you join tomorrow, you are going to be assigned to a group. You are a manager, and the managers are going to be accessing schema 1 and schema 2. So, schema 1 is handled by Peter, schema 2 handled by Girish, and you should be given two permissions. Schema 1 tables are XXXY tables, schema 2 tables are YYY tables. So you will be given those two permissions. Those two DBAs have to give permission to you so that you can just go there and access those tables. Otherwise, you are not. You cannot access. So they know that this guy is now accessing. So who knows that? Girish and the DBA team knows that these are the people accessing. If something goes wrong, they can question you. So I have given you permission on this. So be careful, be clear. You cannot do anything else, or they will cut a lot of other permissions there. So people know that. So these tables are going to be owned by one DBA team, because tomorrow something goes wrong. DBA team cannot say, no, he is handling, I'm not handling, that is handling, I'm not handling, I'm not in the shift, he's not in the shift. It is none of their business. They cannot say like that, because whether you are there or not, Sneha is complete responsible for the bedroom one jewelry. Whether you are there in the shift or not doesn't matter. The kitchen items are completely to be handled by one more guy. So that is how. Clear? So that is the need for the schema. So why people have to create schema? Am I clear, guys? It is a security, purpose. The schemas are created. Okay, guys. So that's what is very, very important. Now let me go to with the schema option, with check option. Satisfied rows by where clause cannot be modified using a view. What is the meaning of this? The meaning is like this. Let us understand. Create a view, get Chennai employee or America employee. I'm writing a query like this with check option. Now, this is not allowed since the row would vanish. Now, let me create a beautiful view, employee table, and I have employee ID and employee name and employee salary, not salary, city. I have, let us say, one, and say some Ram is in some city. Okay. So two, we have Sita and she is in some city. So we have some Lakshman and he's in some Bangalore city. Like that, we have different cities. We have David is in Chennai city. Like that, we have different cities. Bhaskar, I am in Hyderabad city. Like this, we have different cities. On this, I'm going to be creating a view. Okay, create a view. VW get Chennai employees. Okay, as so select star from the employee table where city is equivalent to Chennai. So this is what I'm going to be doing. and I write a with check option. So it is not a normal, view. I'm going to be writing with check option. Okay. So we know that using a view, we can read the data. We can also update the data in the base tables, right? Select star from the view name. You should be able to get all the data. What data you are going to be getting? Chennai data. So this row will be given and this row will be given because you're going to be getting Chennai employees only. So reading purpose, this is how you're going to be reading. So this is the output that you're going to be getting that I know, everybody knows. Now what I do, I wanted to update a row. For example, this guy or this guy is a transfer to some other city. What I'm trying to do, I'll say update. Okay. So update this view and you say set city is equivalent to, say, is it transferring to some new city or some Bangalore city, any city you can take Hyderabad. Who's the guy? Where employee ID is equivalent to 1. Okay. So if I say employee ID equals to 1, now what is going to be happening? This row is vanish because if I'm executing this, I'm getting 2 rows. But if I update with the help of this view, one row will vanish. For example, if I update, so this guy will become Pune, right? If it is becoming Pune, what will happen? This view will not get this guy at all because this is not the Chennai. So whenever re-execute the view is not going to get any kind of this data. So the view is going to lose 1 row. Clear? So you cannot update the city of the this guy using this view. You cannot update city because if you're updating city, what will happen? You lose 1 row. This view will lose one row. Because of that, you cannot update. For example, you go to a bank or the branch, you have opened an account there. Clear? Now you belong to branch BR1. So what you say, sir, I got transferred from this place to one more place. Can you transfer my account? Can you transfer my account to one more branch? So probably branch number BR5, that is where you got transferred. You are having an account where you are having an account in the branch BR1. So your account, the branch number has to be changed. So you go to the branch and say, you better transfer my account. So branch people will say, we don't have authority to change from my branch to branch BR5 because when they're trying to modify like this, they will get the error. For example, tomorrow they will be seeing only Chennai employees. Clear? But you transferred from Chennai to Pune. So the Chennai branch people will be having access only on the view. They can see only Chennai employees data. So the branch BR1 manager will see branch BR1 data, but you are saying and you're saying I got transferred to somewhere else, and you can you assign one more branch to me because I would like to transfer my bank account from your branch to that branch. So the branch manager wanted to update like this. The branch manager will get an error because the branch manager cannot do that. Okay, so branch manager is going to be having a permission onto the view. He can always see Chennai employees. He cannot transfer, he cannot update like this. So even though using the front end application, the front end application is going to call this view only. It is going to show always Chennai employees. But if you wanted to say, I transferred, sir, can you move from this branch to this branch or this city to the city, sir? Can you change my, city? So the branch manager, the account manager cannot do that. Clear? Because of you will not allow when you create with a check option. So what the people will say, ma'am, I cannot do that. You better call center people. So they will be assigning branch BR5. So Using this view, you cannot update the branch BR1 to anything else because these are your branch guys. So I cannot do anything. So that's what branch manager says because with the check option it is behaving like that. So you call center. So call center people will update your city. So the call center people means technical people. So call center will create a ticket. A technical team like DBA team will be there. So that team will be directly going to the employee table and they will be assigning. So new city to you, the new city can come here. Clear? So using a view, you cannot modify the data that you have it. Clear? So because every manager, every branch will have a permission onto the view only. They don't have the permission onto the tables. Clear? So a branch manager or the head cannot change the cities and everything for their employees. So how we can restrict with the help of with check option. So this is the meaning of check option. Yeah, am I clear? So you cannot update the city. Remaining you can update. You can update RAM to something else. You can update, 5 to 6, no problem. But city you cannot update because if I update the city, I lose one row. Clear? So every manager will be, given with a view only. So using a view, they'll see their, customers, their employees. They cannot be allocated the complete permission onto the table because the table has a lot of data. So if you're a branch level manager, you will be allocated to a view. Using a view, you can see your data. If you wanted to modify, you cannot modify. So that is what is with check option. Clear, guys? So this is also very, very important. So people would ask you, what is with schema binding? What is that? What is this? That you need to be, you know, you need to understand carefully. Okay. So the next concept, very, very important concept that we are going to be discussing for next 5-10 minutes, indexed views and materialized views. It is a very, 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 very important concept. In all interviews, this question is asked. What is a materialized view? What is the indexed view? Okay. To understand this, you need to understand limitations of the views. Okay. So views we are writing and what are the limitations? We already know only single query is allowed, no programming, and no insert, update, delete inside the, view. So you can call the view as part of insert, select update, but you cannot have insert, update, delete as part of the view. So no order by clause, no parameters, always gets the fresh data. Slow when the data is in large size. So this is the last 2 points are very, very important. Okay, but last point is even more important. Let me give you one beautiful example. Okay, so I'm having a table called account master table. So account master means you're going to go to bank and open an account, right? So after opening an account in the account master table, what the customers are going to do? Customers are going to create a lot of transactions. So there is a transaction master table. Transactions means cash deposit, cash withdrawal, transferring funds, buying something with a debit card, ATM card, this card. So a lot of transaction data is going to be coming. So using these two tables, you have created a beautiful view. Okay. So you're going to be creating a view, so something, get my transaction. So there is a view you created, get my transactions. So you may be joining, select star from blah, blah, blah. So you have joins and after that you applied a where clause, you need current month data or last 3 months data. Then after that you wanted to know what are the cash deposits. Then you have done, having clause, this one, that one, lot of things you have done it. So this query has become very, very complex query. Complex query means everything you're doing, not only one thing. This is a very, very complex query. Very good. But now this table is having, let us say, 1 million customers, and this is having, let us say, 20 million transactions. Million means 10 lakhs, right, in Indian currency, right? You have so much of a data. So these two tables are large tables. So what is the problem now? The tables are very, very large, Now you are executing this query, when you're executing this view. So when you're executing, what it has to do? It has to go to the table, join row by row, row by row, row by row, row by row, row by row. After joining, apply where clause, then group it, having it, this one, that one, lot of circuit it is doing, and it is getting you some data. This is what is data that you are getting. Clear? But when are you getting this data? Is it very, 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 very fast? It is not very, very fast. You are waiting for 10 minutes. You are waiting for 20 minutes. The query is being executed and you're going to be getting the data. Okay, you waited for 5 minutes or 10 minutes and you got the data. After some time, after 1 hour again, you wanted to call the view. Again, you're calling the view. It is taking again 10 minutes, again 10 minutes. So you are irritated. Then you ask the technical team, hey, why are why aren't we getting the fast response from this view? Then the technical team is saying, sir, we cannot help on this because large amount of data is available in the base tables. So and this query is also very, very complex query, so we are also helpless. So we cannot increase the RAM size, computer size, network size. Even though we increase, tomorrow 20 million data will become 40 millions, right? And 1 million will become 2 millions because the growth is happening like that. Now all the because the view is always going to go and executes the query on the fly. On the fly means whenever you're calling, whenever you call, the view will get executed because it is not going to store data anywhere. Clear? Every time it is going to go and executing the query and getting the data. Now it is becoming very, very slow. So that is the last point I'm talking about. Slow when the data is in large size and when you have a complex query to get it. For example, if I simply go, get me my balance. So I need to get only one row. So that is a simple query. Select C balance from the account master table where account ID is equivalent to 123. So it is not a complex query, but I am taking joining and aggregating, a grouping, a filtering, this one, that one. It has become very, very complex query and large tables I have. Now, what is the minus point? The output I'm getting, it is becoming very, very slow. I am now irritating. Okay, this is me. I am the sales manager. So I wanted to see the some sales report, but the query is very, very slow. I am not at all happy. The slow in getting the data. Okay, the output is very, very slow. Okay, output is very, very slow. This guy is unhappy, so he is calling the technical team and asking, do something and make it fast. Now what you do, you create what is called as an indexed view. You create what is called as an indexed view. Now not the normal view, indexed view you create. So when you create an indexed view, what will happen? Let us understand. Okay, when you create an indexed view, first time you're going to be executing, getting some output, this you're not going to be leaving. So what you do, all these things, all these things will be, this is your cache means a RAM, right? So in your memory, or you can say RAM, or people are going to be saying as a cache, or you can say buffer, whatever you call this as, or memory. So all these are synonyms only. Clear? Cache, memory, buffer, everything, includes memory. You have 2 GB of RAM, 4 GB of RAM, whatever it is. So first time you're executing, you got this output. So you're not going to be throwing this out. So when you create an indexed view is going to store this data in a cache. Clear? So what it is going to do? It is going to go to the RAM, and in the RAM, the same data will get stored. Very simple. The same data is going to come now, and it is going to be staying in the RAM even though you close this. So you're connecting, you wanted to get some output and see, you got some output first time. It has taken 10 minutes and it is just showing you some data. After that, you close it. You say log out and came out. Then after 1 hour or after in the after some days, you go and again you click on the same view. The view is very faster next time. You know what view is going to be doing? So view will not go and execute this query. Remember this point. View, when you call the view, view is not going to execute this query whenever you call this. It is not going to execute the query. So view, what SQL Server is going to be doing, whenever you call the same view, it is going to go to this and picks up this data which is cached. So that data is going to be showing it to you. Remember this point, okay? So this data is not coming from the base tables. Clear? The data is not coming from the base table, it is cached. So when it is cached, do you take much more time? Because you're not going to be executing the query, because indexed views data is now stored. Normal view data will not get stored. Index views data, a views data is getting stored, means that view is called as an indexed view. Why are you storing the data? Because tomorrow I don't want to execute complete query once again, because it will take 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. What I'm caching, first time I'm executing the complete query, I may take 20 minutes, but whatever the result set I got it, that I'm going to be caching in the RAM or in the memory. So tomorrow, if somebody ask me the same thing, I am not going to be going and executing. I wanted to go and show this. Now here there are a few disadvantages. One disadvantage, for example, you have 1A 10 is there. So in the output you will be able to get 1A 10, but the same thing will get cached. Okay, 1A 10. So tomorrow what happens? The 10 will become 20. Okay, so 10 will become 20. So the data is getting modified here. If the data is getting modified, automatically SQL Server is also coming and modifying this data. This is a burden to the SQL Server. The cached data will get modified. Clear? When you recall tomorrow, it is not going to show 1A10, it is going to be showing 1A20. So what is the disadvantage? If the data getting modified in the base tables, SQL Server automatically changing the data in your cache. Clear? So that is a burden for the SQL Server. SQL Server as in having a lot of burdens. What is that? So it has to update the data. So that is one burden. The second thing is that the second burden is the space in the RAM. I need to have enough space. I may have not only one indexed view, right? I may be having lot of indexed views. Clear? Lot of indexed views I may be having. So I need to, every time when the data is getting modified, automatically I wanted to have these updations. Who's going to be taking care? SQL Server is going to be taking care. So don't worry. And it has to have enough RAM space or the memory space to hold the cache. Clear? But what is the advantage? Advantage for the user, he is saying that it is very faster. What a nice thing, Bhaskar. Now my query is running very good. So what is that you have done? You did not do anything. You have executed the query, got the result set and cached it, and second time onwards is showing the same cached buffer, the buffered data to the end user. You're not going to execute the query again and again. So this is a beautiful thing. So I will give you one simple example so that you would understand. Okay, for example, I wanted to know India is having almost 13 100 million people, right? So this is the total population. So I wanted to know what is the population of India. Now, do you think that it can happen within 2 minutes and 3 minutes? If you have 1300 million records in your table, so I wanted to have city-wise count. If I create one table for India, so what will happen? It will take a lot of time to get my this one. For example, there is a state called AP, and in these are the numbers. Now in the state called some KA, and the numbers are like this, very big numbers. The state called some PPL, and there are very, very big numbers like that. I'm getting a lot of data. So these are very, very big numbers. So you have calculated. So like that, you have lot of states are available in India. The numbers are like this. Now, I wanted to know what is the uh, yeah, a state-wise total population. I got these numbers, but to get these numbers, my query has taken 1 hour of time. 1 hour of time. So after that, what I do? You want me to, leave this? I'm not going to be leaving. I am going to be caching. Okay. I don't create a normal view. If a normal view I create, this will not get stored anywhere. I'm going to be creating an indexed view. Okay. We can give the view name is called population. So India population. It is not a normal view. It is a indexed view. So what is happening? It is going to be storing the data and calculated, stored the data. First time it may take a lot of time because it has to run the complete these million records. Okay, so India data stored in a table called India table, and 13 million 100 records are gone. I wanted to know state-wise or city-wise population. So I have executed the query for 1 hour and I got these numbers. I'm going to be storing. Tomorrow, using this, I wanted to know what is the population for this one. So what I do, I go to select star from the, I don't go to the base table, India. I go to this India population view. I go to India population view where city or state provision equals to, so let us say KA. Now, what is advantage? If I use KA now, what is advantage here? So I'm not going to go to again base table, do count star where state equals to KA. I will not be able to do that now because already I have aggregated the data. If I need all the states data, I can get it. Select star from the view name, or if I need one state table, I don't want to go to the base table and do the counting. I already the available data is here, and simply go and select this row, go and get it. So tomorrow the numbers are increasing, now. It is not 0 1, it is at some more data got increased automatically. These numbers are increased by the SQL server table, or there is a decrement. It is not a double nine, it is not a triple nine. The people have died, many people have died. So this is the new population. The table got updated, automatically these records got updated. Clear? So if I wanted to go to one city data, I don't want to count going to the base table. Already I have indexed view. This is storing data. If I need all the data, I can get it. Or if I need only one state data also, I should be able to go and get the data. If you say select a count star from the India table where state equals to KA, it will take a lot of time to count for at least one state because big number it has to, fetch one row by row, row by row, row by row, row by it has to count. So it is having more population. So even then it is taking a lot of time. Clear? So you can get all the data, or if you need only whatever bit the data that you wanted to get it, you can get it. So normal views do not store data. Indexed views store data where? In the cache. Okay, why are we storing the data? Because this view is getting a lot, this view is taking a lot of time to execute. So I don't want to waste my time. So first time, okay, first time you're going to be, anyhow, you need to execute the data. So first time that is fine, but later you are very, very faster. I gave you this beautiful example. You are making a coffee, right? So make the coffee, at least 30 cups of the coffee in the morning. So if you wanted to use the same coffee again, don't go to the kitchen every time. So what you do, you have the coffee or you have a flask and you store the coffee, and every 1 hour you can go to the flask and have. So first time you're going to be, having 30 minutes of time, you're spending in the kitchen, but later, so all of them, all the coffee you cached in the flask, right? Second time you simply go to the flask and take the cup and take within 2 minutes or 5 minutes you can get the coffee. So what is the trick you applied? Nothing. Only your caching, nothing else. Clear? So if you cache it, there are some disadvantages. If the Coffee is getting cold means you need to reheat. So that if the flask is having automatic heater and automatic, this kind of a thing, it is going to be doing all those things automatically. Clear? So you're not going to be taking care of that as also. Clear? So what is a view? View do not store its data anywhere. Indexed views are going to store the data separately in the cache. What is the advantage? Advantage is tomorrow if you wanted to have some data, then I need not perform aggregations. Already I have aggregated the data, kept some results, and I can simply go and query the this one. Clear? So where index views are more important, where you have large amount of data. Normally, where we are going to be having large amount of data, not in OLTP systems, we are going to be having a large amount of data in the data warehousing systems. Clear? So in the data warehouses, that data warehouse means a large databases. OLAP systems are called data warehouse, large database. There we are going to be creating more and more indexed views, and that is historical data. Historical data means nobody will change. OLTP data every day, morning and evening data will change. If you're talking about data warehousing data, so I don't know whether you know data warehousing or not. I think I spoke in an MSBA class. Clear? We have OLTP applications and OLAP applications. And in OLTP, the data is always read and write data. And the more you're going to be having writing here. But in case of OLAP or data warehousing applications, you have big tables and historical data. So nobody is going to be modifying the data morning and evening. So in the data warehousing applications, the index views are more suitable, but does not mean that in OLTP also, if some view is very very slow and it is very very complex, and the user says that it is very very critical query for me, Bhaskar, you have to give some importance to this query. Can you do something on it? Now what you do, you create a normal view to indexed view. That's it. So known as materialized views, improve the performance. What is the secret I told you? It is going to be storing data in a cache. So best suited for joins, aggregations, group by query with the complex logic, large data, higher response queries, critical queries. That means the user is asking you, Bhaskar, this query is very, very important. This output is very, very important. Bhaskar, do something. So now we got an idea. So let me convert a normal view into indexed view. So how to do that technically, I will show you, right? So disadvantages are maintenance. Maintenance means I told you, if we have 1 year, 10 year, tomorrow it may become 1 year, 20. That has to be done automatically in case of OLTP applications. But in case of OLAP applications, nobody is going to be modifying historical data. The maintenance will not also be there. Clear? And hard disk space, it is going to be keeping all the data into the RAM or the cache or the buffer or in the hard disk. Somewhere it is going to be taking keeping the data, and tomorrow if you wanted to get it, it will go to the hard disk, fetch the data, and it is going to be giving. The hard disk space is called a cache. Even though you don't have the memory space from the RAM itself, then it is going to be using a hard disk space itself, is it, as a cache or the memory space. Now remember, normal views do not store data elsewhere. Indexed views are called as a materialized views, are going to be storing the output of the view, elsewhere. Elsewhere means in the RAM or the cache or in the hard disk somewhere. Clear? So syntax, how can we create? Normal views, we know we normally create like this. But if you wanted to create an indexed view, compulsorily you need to have with schema binding. With schema binding, whenever you use schema, you need to use it here. So everywhere you need to use schema. I'm using a count underscore big, because I know that I'm going to count large amount of data. So count is going to be counting till millions. Okay. So if it is more than a million and billions of data, count star function is not going to work. There is a function called count underscore big star. Clear? So I'm going to be, I'm having millions and trillions of data. So I know that this query is going to take a lot of time. So I'm going to be creating an indexed view. If you wanted to create an indexed view, you must apply with schema binding. Okay. So then what you do, you create a unique clustered index. What is index? You may not be knowing. So these are the two steps that you should do. Normal view means with schema binding is not required. This indexing is not required. Create a unique clustered index, blah, 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 index name on this view name. So there is a column called a branch ID you're going to be creating. So after you creating, you're going to be calling the view. How do you call the view? Select star from the view name. Okay. After creating, you're going to be calling, right? So first time, select star from the view name. So whatever be the view name, that when you call, first time it is going to go, gets complete data, and it is going to be executing, joining, executing, it is eliminating, grouping, lot of things it is doing, and you assume that you have a large amount of data. So whenever you call like this, it is getting all the data and it is going to be caching. And after the caching, it is going to be creating a unique clustered index on the first column. Okay, y index and all of them will discuss later. So this will store the data elsewhere. That's it. Clear? And later, first time it may take time, second time it is very, very fast. When you execute the same query second time, it will give you a result set in 1 minute. Clear? Because first time when you're preparing a coffee, you're taking 30 minutes of time. But once you prepare a coffee, you need only 2 seconds to give you the result set of the coffee. Clear? So because you cached it. So this is how technically you should be able to create a indexed view. Normal views do not store data. Normal views are slow when you have a large amount of data in the base table. So indexed views are very, very faster. Views do not store data. Index views store or cache data. OLTP will have normal views. OLAP will have more indexed views. But in OLTP also, if something is slow, you can create an indexed view, what is called as a materialized view, so that you can get the data cached so that it is very, very fast. Clear? Very, very important interview question. So what is the normal view? What is the indexed view? Normal view does not cache the data, it does not store the output elsewhere. Every time it's going to be executing the query. Hence, it may slow when you have large amount of data in the base tables. That's what. Any questions, guys? It's very, very important. So tomorrow we don't have class being Saturday and Sunday. Please complete the case study and ask me any questions later if you have something.